Hey, I had to start over again. Going live can be tricky. I'm in a setup where I've got lots of bandwidth, so I don't know why it's having trouble. But here we go. We're going to start on day 16. Welcome back, beautiful souls. Um, Kudos to you for coming back and doing the work. This one's called The Power of Naming Shame Out Loud. And I'm hoping this connection is going to be okay. So, yesterday we talked about how shame thrives in silence and how simply using your voice begins to dissolve that power. So today we're going to take that next step. We're going to name the shame out loud. This one can feel scary at first, but it's one of the most transformative acts of self liberation that you can practice, literally. So the work is really, really important. So, let's talk about what naming shame really means. Most of us spend years running from shame, literally, or just burying it. We disguise it as anger. We numb ourselves with busyness. But here's the paradox: the more we avoid it, the more control it has over us, right? Like when you name the shame, you can interrupt that pattern. Call it a pattern break. So when you bring what's been in hiding in the dark, hiding in the dark, into the light where your mind and heart can finally meet it with understanding, the shame loses its ability to control you. And shame is funky. It can sound like really simple things like, I feel ashamed that I failed the test. I feel ashamed that I wasn't there for someone I love. I feel ashamed that I gained weight. I feel ashamed that I stayed silent when I wanted to speak. I feel ashamed that I didn't stick up for somebody being bullied. See, all through our lives, we feel shame for different things, a lot of weird things, right? That that don't even mean anything, but that's our response to it. So you notice, this is important to notice, the difference between saying I am ashamed versus I feel ashamed is big. There's an enormous difference there. One defines who you are, the other describes what you're feeling. I need you to notice that difference. The simple act of naming moves your experience from the limbic system, the part of the brain responsible for threat and emotional reactivity, into the prefrontal cortex, that area that helps you reason, empathize, and self soothe. So, scientifically speaking, naming shifts, naming the shame shifts you out of survival and into healing. But emotionally, something even more powerful happens. You stop being the prisoner of that secret, of your secret. When you name it, shame becomes emotion in motion. It loses its static, paralyzing grip and starts flowing through you instead of staying stuck inside. Makes sense, right? It starts flowing through you. Shame needs three things to survive: secrecy, silence, and judgment against yourself. Naming it breaks all three of these at once. Until we give words to our hidden experiences, these experiences remain fragmented, cut off from the larger story of who we really are. When you name your shame, you reintegrate it into the lost parts of yourself. You say, even this belongs, even this is worthy of compassion. It's radical honesty and it's radical wholeness, becoming whole again. So now naming doesn't have to be loud or public. You don't have to say it to anybody. You don't have to make a big grand confession or post your truth online. This can be deeply private work. You might speak it softly in your room, write it in your journal or your workbook, as we are doing it during this journey, or whisper it during meditation and prayer. Share it with your confidants. Share it with your guides, your angels. What matters is that you stop pretending that you're unaffected. Because when you give language to what once lived nameless, you take away shame's favorite weapon, and that is secrecy. You start to hear your own courage again. So, now let's do a little reflection. Complete this sentence in your journal, your workbook. I hope you're bringing that to the sessions. If you don't have it, go to the Shiro's Journey group, and it's under files there. Just have to join in there. So go to your journal and say this to yourself. Here it comes. If I could name what I'm really ashamed of, it would be fill in the blank. Don't overthink it. I'll say it again. The first thought that comes up is usually the truth. Let the words appear without editing, without judging. You don't have to justify them or make sense of them. You're not doing this to fix anything. You're doing it to make contact with what's real. And once something is named, it's no longer hiding in the dark. And that's all we're doing. Just naming it. Here's the sentence again. Here's the question again. If I could name what I'm really ashamed of, it would be. Okay, I hope you got that question. That's your work for today. Remember, naming the shame doesn't mean you're shameful. It's a feeling, it's not who you are. It means you're brave enough to face what's really real. And that's where transformation actually has the chance to begin. You're not your past, you're not your mistakes, you're not your conditioning. You are the one who is witnessing and learning and healing. And today we chose one small truth to name, just one. And so you're going to say it to yourself, write it down, or if you feel ready, share it with someone who's earned your trust. Every time you name what you once had to hide, you claim a piece of your freedom. I hope that was clear. Today's practice is really about being honest, but even more than that, it's about compassion for yourself. When you name your shame, you're not exposing yourself, you're just freeing yourself. You're turning fear into truth and truth into light. Okay? Thanks for showing up. Tomorrow we're going to talk about why connection is the ultimate antidote to shame and how being seen with compassion changes everything. Okay? Thank you, beautiful souls. Have a great day. See you tomorrow.